All right, here we are again on a gorgeous morning here in, I'm in Texas, but I have the Dr. Aaron Brown with me here. Well, I guess you're also in Texas. Neither of us are in Portland.
Now, yes.
But we're Trailblazers transplants here in another state. But we're going to talk about the team that we love, like it or love it, Aaron. We were thrusted. The Blazers were thrusted upon us if we liked it or not. And here, I have a question as we dive into the Rip City Roundtable podcast. Would you have been another NBA fan? Like, let's say you could have had any option you wanted. I mean, and you didn't live in a state that had a team, would you have gravitated towards the Blazers as a kid? Like, if you could pick any NBA team.
Well, I think people should root for the team that they grow up with and they live nearby, right? You want to be able to go to the games and do that. I never understood these people who are like LA Lakers fans who like live in Portland. Like, what are you doing? What's this?
Never understood those people.
No, never understood.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
especially like young kids. I know like sometimes you inherit it from your parents or whatever, but
yeah.
For me, it had to be the Blazers. I mean,
oh yeah, had to be. No, I those people, yeah, when we're growing up and they're like, yeah, go Kobe and Shaq, and it's like, oh, like what? And they're like, well, I grew up in LA, and it's like, well, okay, like I don't like you, but I'll have to just respect the fact that you just have to be a.
If you grew up in LA, then I can accept it.
Yeah, if you grew up in LA, you just kind of have to accept it. So that's just it is what it is. But okay, well, we're here, Aaron. We're in the middle of the off season. I figured there's a TV behind me playing an old throwback game, 2006 Trailblazers in Seattle, the Supersonics.
Just Steve Blake, yeah.
Blake. There's Joel the Thriller Prisbilla.
Oh, Prisbilla.
Prisbilla on there. Where's Joel at? So anyway, that's playing. If you're watching the video version of this on YouTube, go subscribe to Blazers Edge, the YouTube channel. Well, Aaron, we're so thankful you're coming back on here. This is what, your third appearance, I think. Or fourth?
Yeah,
third or fourth. Third or fourth. So we need our fix from the doctor. I think a lot's happened. Last time you came on, we were projecting who the Blazers would draft, what we should do, blah blah blah. It's happened. Donovan Clingan fell. I guess you can call it fall. He fell to number 7. We snagged him, the 7'3" center from UConn, 2-time defending NCAA champion. What were your thoughts on getting the big man at the 7th spot for the Blazers?
Yeah, I think it worked out pretty well. I think I'm trying to remember what we said in that podcast. I think I wasn't quite sure on Clingan, and there were some other guys that maybe I was interested. But the way it broke down, I really liked him in that spot, and I think he'll have a good NBA career. Assuming he stays healthy and everything. I don't think he projects as an all-star, but no one in this draft really does. And
yeah,
I think one of your guests said it well on the previous episode. Like, he has proven skills, and those will translate to the NBA. And I've been hearing good things. I read the Blazers article about their first practice, and Clingan, I guess, was hitting some outside shots, and was another part of his game that we didn't know about. And okay.
The big man drifted out. I like it. Knocking down the open shot.
They were running some offense through him. So I'm very anxious to see it in summer league, to see him play, especially. Him and Chris Murray, I think, are the two we'll be keeping our eye on.
Yeah, I would throw the third. I'd throw the third Ryan Rupert. I throw Ryan as the I think potentially as a third guy on the summer league team that got some run at the end of the season. Obviously, when we're losing, nothing's going right. But I think Rupert has some ability there, Aaron, and I think he grew, and he's probably the one I'm looking at here the most, actually. I think over Clingan,
Over Klingon? Okay.
I think over Chris Murray. I think Rupert. I want to see Ryan Rupert. And I was glad I wrote this in one of my recaps during the season. Okay, I'm not crazy, but Justin Minaya, when I would see him play, he'd come in, he'd play like 12 minutes a game, right? He wasn't getting a lot of run even at the end of the season. But he just looked like a guy that could be on a team that's competent. And I don't know if that's a compliment, but he looks like a guy. I don't want to say like, oh, he's part of an 8 or 9-man playoff roster, but I don't know. And I was glad the Blazers kept him. They didn't, they think he's on a 2-way, I think. But of all those kind of guys at the end of last season that were getting play just because we were bad, they kept Minaya. And so I think I'm like, okay, maybe they saw the same thing. Like maybe I'm seeing the same thing that they're seeing. So that's why they kept. They didn't call me. They didn't ask for my opinion.
They should have.
They should have. But I would think, and I know it's summer league, but between Rupert, Klingon, and Minaya, those 3 guys, those are like defenders. Like they're going to play some defense. And then Murray. I mean, Aaron. I think the Blazers have a summer league championship waiting to happen here with this roster. What do you think?
Very hard to predict summer league. I sure it's entirely possible. I think wasn't there a year we won or we almost won summer league? It was like we had like no one that was of note.
We did.
We just played really well and
yeah.
So like it can definitely happen. I mean, especially if you're going to put some, like you said, competent guys out there.
Yeah. We're always in the mix. We're always in the summer league contention.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're like the Golden State Warriors of summer league. Like you can't count us out. Even if it looks like, oh, new roster. Nope. We still got, it's just summer league. So, I don't know, man. I think it'll be fun. It'll just be good to see some basketball being played. We haven't seen much from the Portland side in a while, so it'll be good to get out there. But yeah, Klingon obviously will be the guy. And if he can drift out and shoot threes, that's great. If he can be a threat, right, Aaron? Like I think that's
not even the 3 at this point. I mean, if he can just keep defenders honest, I think when you're a 7-footer, you have to really close out tight because he can just shoot it over you, right? If you give him any space.
Yeah.
Even at like the elbow jumper, like you can't sag off of that if he can hit that shot because of how tall he is, right? So I think it even if it's just mid-range, just keeping defenders honest, I think it can help stretch the floor a little more.
Yeah.
It'd be great if he could hit the 3. I have no idea if that's in his repertoire, but
I mean, if it's just,
it doesn't have to be this year though, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, if it's respectable, like I'll just take respectable, like because like the Blazers, you have like Duop Reith who
right.
Plays
I was just thinking Duop Reith.
Yeah, and Duop can like sink it, so you got to get out on Duop. Robert Williams. He's not going to shoot threes. Will he even stay healthy? Will he even be on the Blazers? All those are questions. But Rob isn't shooting threes, and so it's like if Ayton has a sweet mid range stroke. Oh my goodness, that man with that mid range jump shot, like that little turnaround. Oh, it's beautiful. But he's not shooting threes.
If you could have him, and then you bring in Klingon to give him a spell, and Klingon's bringing you the same thing from the mid range, you can like run your offense the same, right? So like there's definitely that would be really nice.
Yeah, that would be nice. I think it's Klingon's. You see a lot of those clips and watching, UConn games. I should have picked him in a tournament one year, Aaron. I can't believe I never picked UConn. I know. Hate myself.
You're too prejudiced against
too prejudiced. I just can't do it.
I don't like the repeats.
Can't stand the repeats. But like they would run him at the high post, and he is a good passer. And now college defense is a little different than NBA defenses. But even if Klingon, let's say, doesn't become a big 3-point shooter, but if he can man that high post and just hit cutters to the rim, hit the open guy in the corner for 3, and becomes kind of a facilitator there, I think that'd be a huge win for the Blazers as well. And that's still a threat. You still got to bring, your defender has to come up and at least get in your face a little bit. So I don't know, but yeah, clearly he'll be the guy. It was interesting to see Zach Edey in his first summer league game. Played pretty well for Memphis.
He played very well, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And those guys will probably be, if they both have good careers, will always kind of be linked together because they were the two big centers and they were drafted right after each other. And it's like the Blazers could have had Edey, but Klingon was the better prospect. So I hope it pans out. I hope Klingon's the better big man. But that will be fun to watch in Summer League. When are we going to go down to Summer League? We've never gone live. I mean, what are we doing? We could go to Vegas.
Make it to Vegas?
Yeah, make it to Vegas. We have a friend, Mitchell, Tyler Mitchell. He's there. Hey, you know what, Aaron? This is a little off track, and I don't want to lose people, but shout out to Tyler Mitchell. He's in the World Series of Poker right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's going to cash. He's about to cash in the main event, so I'm proud of him. Yeah, he's doing a good job.
I saw a picture of him. He's got the full focus. He had like glasses and just like totally covered. Just
he's ready to rumble. I was trying to convince my wife to let me go down there because it's Big 12 Media Day, for college for Big 12.
Oh, okay.
And that was this week. And here at Rogue Media Network, we have a guy down there. His name's Paul. He's doing some great work, and so he wanted me to go. We had media passes, and so I was like, well, I had it lined up. I could stay with Lauren, or I could stay with Tyler, go to Big 12 Media Day, so call it work, quote unquote work, and then catch some summer league. But I would just have to stay for like 2 weeks, and I don't think that was going to be feasible.
Oh, 2 weeks, yeah, that's a big ask.
It was a big ask. So, but anyway, well, very fun. I'm excited for summer league. We'll see how it all breaks down. No injuries.
First game on Friday, right?
First game on Friday. My final thoughts on summer league before we move on. No Scoot, no Tumani. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I think so. I think they played enough in the regular season. You're not really... I don't know what they would gain from playing in Summer League. It's usually more for guys to get a feel for the game that haven't had that much experience.
Okay.
You've
seen enough.
I think I'm okay with it. Yeah. Would I have liked to see Scoot play and dominate? Yes, but I don't know that he could have, I'm still not sure he's there. So
they played it safe with him last year, you know. And so now what I would have liked, I think I would have liked Tumani, because I think Tumani, he's not a guy that just gets hurt easily. And I'm knocking on wood here.
Right.
Don't get hurt. But it would have been fun to see him like facilitate or like be an offensive player.
See if he can run the offense through him. That's true.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to get that chance in the regular season at all.
No.
Maybe they just don't feel like that's what they want to develop with him. I don't know. But you're right. I mean, that would have been something interesting to see.
That would have been the only thing. I think if I would have liked to see Tumani out there doing that. But, all right. Okay, so Summer League's Friday. We'll keep tabs on it. We'll bring you back. Maybe we'll do a live show if they make it to the championship game, Aaron. We come on... and we just talk about the game and see what's going on. Can you agree to that? Can your agent get you to agree to
that? We should definitely look into doing that. That'd be fun.
Okay.
Do a live show with the game on. Yeah.
I think that'd be cool. All right. Let's move on to the next topic on hand, which is so the remaining offseason. So obviously you have the team in Vegas, the rookies, the second-year guys, the two-way players, all that. But we got Jeremy Grant, we got Simons, Rob Williams. We got these guys, Aaron, that are still kind of fringe. Are they even going to be on the team when the season starts? Does your spidey sense, does your insider knowledge, just having a PhD just put you at another heady level than other people? What's going to happen? Are any of these guys going to get traded, or are we going into the season with this roster and then at the trade deadline we see what happens?
I don't think any. Well, it's a good question. I was going to say I don't think they get moved before the season, but it's always possible. I just think right now teams are settling into what they have, and unless there's a team who's like, we really need something before the season starts, I don't. It's all about demand, right? So like, we have supply of talented players that we're willing to part with. what's the team that's like we have holes we need to fill, and right now those teams are not very many because everyone kind of wants to see what they have, right? They have their new signings, they have their rookies, they have their just new pieces that they have, and then after a few games in, they're like, oh, that guy didn't work out. This is not fitting the way we thought it would. Like then their price tag goes up to what they're willing to pay for players, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think anyone gets moved before the season for that reason.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if they get moved during the season. It depends on what teams are willing to play.
Really?
Yeah, I think that the Blazers want to move off of those guys eventually, but I think they're not in a rush. So they're just going to wait till the price is right.
Okay. I see that. I mean, well, I was going to say like Simons, we'll talk about Simons and Grant first, is they're generally pretty healthy, but Anthony got hurt game 1 of last year, which wasn't great. Yeah. Grant, I think if that had been a normal season, I think the man plays 75 games or something. Right. There wasn't anything I think they just got held out. Rob, I would play Robert Williams 11 minutes a game. I'd play him 5 minutes in the first half, 6 minutes in the second half. That's all I would do. I would literally and then bring a wheelchair out, and when the game is over, put him in the wheelchair. He doesn't need it. He's not hurt, but like just wheel him to the locker room.
Like, not a great image though.
Yeah,
you want this guy? We wheel him in every day.
Maybe we dress it up a little bit so it doesn't look like a wheelchair. Maybe it looks like a lounge chair or something, right. A lazy boy. But it's a wheelchair. And so we wheel him to the locker room, help him get dressed. He can shower on his own, and then get him in clothes, wheel him to his car. Like, we got to put the man in bubble wrap. Just because, I mean, I just don't. He would give me, I wish we were in a situation as a team where, like, we could keep him, and I know there's people that think we should, but if we had to rely on him, Aaron, like, the man gets hurt in normal arenas, let alone Portland, which is like the doom of any center. And I'm sorry, Klingon, but unless he can reverse the curse, Ayton stayed relatively healthy, so maybe it's turning, but I don't know, Aaron. That's my take on Rob. I think you're right. It's demand. It has to be the right team. I look at a team like the Lakers, who desperately need another player. Grant makes sense on that team, but it's like the players we're getting back are kind of just like, eh. But then is there like, will there be another team? I don't know. So I'm with you though. You got to wait. I think you got to wait. Yeah. The hard part was Brogdon for me because he just took minutes away from Shaden and Scoot. You have Simons in there too. So that one felt like you had to do it. You couldn't get into the season with 4 points.
I think you're right. They found a good spot for that. I think we talked well, maybe we didn't talk on the
I don't think we talked about the Advia trade. You feel good about it? Maybe we talked on the phone about it. I think we talked off air.
Yeah, I think we were
or texting.
Right. Yeah. I think I had mixed feelings because I think you and I both thought, Brogdon had a little more value than that. Giving up, was it 2 picks?
Yes, in essence 2 picks. Yeah.
2 picks and Brogdon for Ajiva, Denny. But overall, I mean, I've heard good things. He's saying all the right things. He's excited to be here. I think he'll be a good fit with the team, and so maybe they saw something in Denny, and they got good value there. I mean, certainly the contract has really good value. Yeah, the declining contract is not very common in the NBA.
No, very weird.
And he continues to improve and become like a 3-and-D player, and then
yeah. Well, in the final year, the final year of that contract is like $13 million or something, and when the cap is whatever it's going to be at in like 3 or 4 years, that's going to be like a $5 million contract. Like that's going to be a very, very small for a player that ideally will be very productive. I was talking to Dave Decker last episode, the editor in chief of the Blazers Edge, and he phrased it like this, and I think a lot of people have had this opinion too. But it's like you have to think of Denny as like our 14th pick in the draft. Like that's like the way to think of that trade. You have to like compare it to like what we gave up. And I know Brogdon was a part of that, but it's like if you can get a guy like that at the 14th pick in the 2024 draft, that's really good. Like I would do that 9 times out of 10, maybe 10 out of 10, maybe 9. We'll see how it plays out. But that he's a good addition. He fits the team. If you were constructing a basketball team, Aaron, which I think you and I just love that aspect. We're both gamers. We love board games, video games, and I think we love to construct something that works. All the pieces fit together. He fits the pieces for Portland. Denny does. So I love the trade. I hope the man stays healthy. I hope he continues to do what he has to do. But we need to stink one more year, Aaron. One more.
No, I hear you. I agree. I think every Blazer fan knows right now. Yeah, we're still in phase 1 of the rebuild because we're still looking for our guy. You know, we missed on the Wemby sweepstakes.
Yep.
This draft didn't have that guy for anyone. I mean, remains to be seen. Maybe there'll be a surprise, but
yeah.
Everyone's kind of looking to the next draft as like, okay, there might be 1 or 2 guys that'll be the guy.
Yeah.
And we need one. We have to get one of those guys.
Got to get one.
And if it doesn't come this next year, it gets a little harder. Things are going to change. You're going to have to re-examine players and things. And
yeah.
The only other way to get one of those guys is if one of our guys develops into that. And so that my question for you is there someone on the Blazers roster who you think will be a future All-Star? Is there anyone, if you had to pick one
right now, if I had to pick one right now,
who's the most likely? Yeah.
Who is the most likely of any guy on the team right now?
Yeah.
Okay. If who's most likely, I saw things in Shaedon Sharpe that I don't see in other players. And I think he took a good leap. I'm gonna say a great leap, but a really good leap from year 1 to year 2. It's just been the injuries have hurt Shaedon. But I think he is the most likely. I know the guard position, especially for like in the All-Star games, are very competitive. You have a lot of good guards, but I think Shaedon can jump off the screen athletically. His shot is like getting there. It looks so smooth, and I think he has a drive. I think that guy's really competitive. So if I had to pick one that I think is most likely, like if the Blazers, maybe not next year, but the year after, 2026 season, start 30-10 or something, I think Sharpe's averaging 26 a game or something. 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Like I think he makes an All-Star game. So I'd say Shaedon Sharpe is my most likely to take the leap. Who I want to see would be Tumani, because if Tumani Kamara makes an All-Star team, that probably means another Blazers on the All-Star team, and we're a title contender. So that would be what I want. But I think Shaedon will be Scoot has all the ability in the world to do anything he wants, or he could be playing in China in 4 years. So,
Scoot's got a huge
range.
I think Sharpe is the correct answer.
Okay. Good.
I think you could. I totally agree. That was kind of where I was going to go with the question.
Okay.
I think you could make a case that if Ayton keeps developing, you could see him getting to an All-Star. If we're running a lot of offense through him, I think Dave on your podcast brought up he wants to see us run the offense through Ayton for these first 20 games or so, and just see what we have there. Can he be an offensive hub on a team? Yeah. So I think you can make the case for Ayton, and that would obviously happen maybe more quickly than Scoot, just because of not Scoot, because of Sharpe, just because where they both are in the careers. But I do think I agree with you. If you're really wanting to see a player get to that and who has the potential, I think Sharpe is the answer.
Yeah.
Which means I think, going into the next season, that's going to be the player number one player to be watching. Where is he at? Is he made another leap? Is how much are they putting the ball in his hands? All that kind of stuff is going to be really important. So definitely,
yeah,
looking forward to that. And that's a ways away still, but
ways away. But we'll get there, Aaron. Just as a side note, the Blazers are down 39-23 to the Sonics right now.
I can't help but look and like, what are they doing?
Brutal. Like I think rookie Durant got Prisbilla in foul trouble pretty quickly here, and Damian Wilkins has 7 points and 5 rebounds, leading the game for the Sonics. No, you're right. I mean, Ayton. Dave brought up that was like the biggest question the Blazers have they're facing. Of all the questions, there's a lot of questions, but that's the big one because he's making the most money. And so we have to figure out, is Ayton worth moving forward with? We just drafted this center who's came, weak draft, but highly touted and was a winner in college. He's different than Ayton. He's not the same type of player that Ayton is, but we have to figure that out. And that made sense to me. And so I think the Blazers should go through and see what we have in Ayton. We need to figure out the guard thing too, but that's more of like a development deal. Like I think that's going to take a whole season with Scoot and Shaden together about what they have. But Ayton, I think, maybe he's the one that gets traded. If is the first one. Maybe it's not Grant. Maybe it's not Simons. Maybe it's not Williams. Maybe it's Ayton. Because the Blazers either play him for, or obviously they're going to play him, but he plays well for the first 20, 30 games. What if he just jumps off the page, Mr. Dr. Brown, Dr. Aaron Brown? What if he jumps off the page and teams are just calling and you're just getting like, who would be the team? New Orleans is like, okay, we'll give you 2025 and 2026 first round unprotected. For Ayton.
Let me ask you this though: if he jumps off the page, do you want to trade him?
Well, I don't. That's what I'm saying. But okay, but let's say Ayton jumps off the page, and Klingen's playing really well, even in his first 30 games as a rookie, and New Orleans calls and says, Ayton is our missing piece to win a championship. We'll give you first round unprotected 25 and 26. New Orleans could just bust. They could bust real quickly too. What do you do? Do you do it? Do you do it, GM?
So I am of the opinion you do not, because if you got a guy who's jumping off the page, why do you want to move off of him? I mean, I know we're in a rebuild, but like that's a player you want. Unless you think it's a fluke. If you're just like, oh, this is never happening again. He's hitting like 50% from 3, and he's just he's got 4 blocks a game,
32 points, 19 rebounds, 8 assists, 5 blocks.
Like still high. I mean, yeah, maybe.
Well, I think GMs, there's two things that happen with a general manager, right? If you keep like pushing off drafts, you look so good. You're like, oh man, you got first round picks in 29 and 30 and 31. It's like, yeah. And then they think you did a great job. They won't ever know. That's going to take 7 years to even figure out if that was a good thing or not. But if you decide to keep Ayton and it doesn't pan out after the first year, then they're going to be like, oh, that was a dumb move. You're fired. But Aaron, I think that's why like GMs enjoy just putting the draft picks in the cupboard, because they don't get ridiculed for a first-round pick that they traded for that's going to happen 7 years from now. But they do get ridiculed if the player they decided to keep ends up not playing well that season. Then they're fired and they don't have a job anymore. So I think that's the allure of, wow, Ayton, look at him. He's averaging 49 points a game. Trade him. Like because then it's like, great, look at the great move I did. So I don't know.
I don't think you trade him if he's playing that well. You want that guy on your team.
But then,
I don't know why you would trade him.
But then if he's playing poorly, you can't trade him. Even though you'd want to. You'd be like, hey, he's not working out, let's trade him.
If he's like, let's say, I mean, yeah, if he came back down to earth, you could still say like, hey, look, this guy is still averaging 35 points a game. Like,
yeah, that's true.
I mean, you can point to that, right? And it has trade value even if it's not helping your team at the time. I just think it's hard to come by a guy who's capable of playing that well. If we're this is a theoretical. Ayton is playing. He'd make an all-star team if he's playing that well, right? Like, are we going to trade an all-star?
Ayton would be the MVP if he's playing that well.
I don't think so.
That's true.
He's an MVP candidate.
He's MVP candidate. Okay, so we keep Ayton. We keep Ayton now. Okay. Oh, hey, update. The Blazers are still down 44-27 to the Sonics. Cooper Flagg. You saw it all the news. Sports Center. He played really well, right, against the Olympic team. You know, I kudos to the NBA's like PR department. They're so good. Like the NBA is just a 12-month thing now and 24/7, and it's like they'll find one little thing, and it's like Cooper Flagg leads the select team 74-73 win over the Olympic team, and it's like could Cooper Flagg's momentum be any higher right now as a draft pick? But that he played really well, turnaround jumpers, put back dunks. He's competitive. He'd be perfect to slide in at the wing spot, maybe like where Jeremy Grant plays. So let's just say Blazers get Cooper, and he slides in with Grant where Grant is. We trade Grant. Now that's a dangerous young team there, Aaron.
That's what we want. Yeah, that is the dream. I think we're not the only ones dreaming that, and there's teams I would say better positioned to tank than us. Not that we.
You think so? You think we're not positioned to tank very well?
No, of course we are.
Oh,
we're not going to win. We're not going to win a lot of games.
Oh, okay.
I mean, another rough season. But I'm just saying that I think we have slightly more talent than other teams. We'll see how the season plays out. It's all down to that lottery, right? The number one, it just comes down to the lottery, and I think we'll be in the lottery. The West is stacked this year, so like it's gonna be hard.
Look at the odds that Atlanta had, and then Houston, they jump. Even the year, we grabbed Scoot, we jumped that year,
right?
So it's like Detroit has had the best odds to get the pick for the last 57 years, and they haven't. they don't ever get the number one pick. So, you're right. I think on paper, if our team, I don't want to have this talk. I think Steve DeWald and I a couple episodes ago started. I tried to get him down this road, but I'm like, our team is not terrible, and I know that. I know we need to be bad one more season, I think, to complete the rebuild. But man, if we start 11-3 with a fully healthy team and Simons doesn't get hurt in the first 19 seconds of the first game, 19 minutes or however many minutes he played in game one, I don't know, Aaron. Now, do we have a team that can win a championship? No. I mean, I'm not that delusional, but it's going to be really hard. Because I think the pieces of our team fit. They fit kind of well when you think about it. Like, I don't know.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. I think we have talent on the team. I think, being able to trade Damian for players and then moving those players for more players. Like, we've gotten talent right back. We didn't just get picks and no talent. We got talent back. So, like, that's good. I think that's a better way to build a team, but it also makes it harder to land the generational talent that only comes through the draft and we just haven't hit yet, and hopefully we will. Who knows? It's a long time. It's a whole year away.
It's a whole year away, Aaron. But when we're not in title contention, that's our title. I mean, that's us winning the championship. Is a ping pong ball.
So we'll see.
All right.
I'm excited to see what the future holds for the Blazers.
Me too. We'll see. Any final thoughts, Aaron, before we wrap up? Was there anything you want Joe Cronin to know?
I had to bring back the segment where I give you a little quiz.
Oh yeah,
quiz for you.
Cue the music, Zach, our producer. Zach, cue that. Oh, maybe not. Okay, all right. What hit me? What is the stat?
Okay, since we're talking summer league, I tried to find something summer league related.
Oh, okay.
Do you know the last NBA summer league MVP to make an all-star team?
MVP to make an All-Star team. I don't even know who the MVPs are. Didn't Zach Randolph win an MVP for the Blazers?
I didn't look that.
I think Zebo. I think Zebo was an MVP of the summer league a long time ago, and he's made an All-Star team. Man, jeez, I don't. I'm trying to think who even was MVP last year.
I'll give you a hint.
Give me a hint. Phone a friend.
This player is a little close. Think closer to home.
Oh my gosh, is he on our? No, we don't have an All-Star on our team. It's closer to home. Lillard. Dame? Oh. Yeah. He was the you're right. Did we? No, we didn't win a championship that year in Summer League. He was just the MVP.
But I guess he was named Summer League MVP.
He was Summer League MVP. Yeah, we knew we had something with him. Oh, so he was the last one. So that would have been like
he was the last one, yeah.
Wow, that would have been like 11. Do you have the list in front of you of All-Stars?
I just found this article, so don't
We'll do that next time. I'm sorry, I put you on the spot.
No, I have 3 players. The last 3, I think, was in this article I found. But before Dame was John Wall.
Oh,
2010.
Yep.
He was the Summer League MVP.
Okay.
And then the year before him, I think, 2009 was Blake Griffin.
Oh, wow. There was a run there of some good.
There's a little run there, yeah. And it hasn't happened since then. I think a lot of the top talent doesn't play in Summer League, so that's probably contributing since then. Haven't had one since 2012, so maybe this will be the year it turns around.
Maybe maybe it's maybe Ryan Rupert, just jumps off MVP and then becomes an All-Star. Maybe we didn't even mention him. So all right. Well, you stumped me this time. But I'll get you next time. Trying to feel like the villain from Scooby-Doo or some other show. I'll get you next time. So, all right, buddy. The doctor, chatting. Thanks for stopping in. I feel better now that you've been here. So let's watch some Summer League, Aaron. Pray for no injuries, and we'll go from there.
All right,
dude. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for coming on the Rip City Roundtable podcast.
Thanks for having me, Corey.
See you, dude. Bye.
Bye.
We are Rogue Media Sports.